Hello, this is Tom from Never Center, and I'm going to show you in this video several of the many new things that we've put in CameraBag 2024.3. And there's quite a few, and I think that you'll find many of them handy, and so let's just jump right in. The first is a new AI Denoise function. So we don't love generative AI in photo editing. We kind of think as a company, we like photography to represent what is seen, but there come times when it's something like digital noise, or in this photo you can see these compression artifacts, or noise introduced from low light that you may want to get rid of, and AI happens to be very handy for that kind of thing. So alongside our AI Upscale that we added in our one of our previous updates this year, we've added this AI Denoise, and so you just click on that, and like I say, this will work on digital noise or more analog noise, but then you can see when it completes, it does a great job of removing all of those compression artifacts. I can hit undo and redo to sort of toggle between those. Excuse me. So that's one of the great new features we've got. Next, in both videos, here's a video, but this also works in photos, which is that we've added flip. So I can press H and it will horizontally flip, and I can press V and it will vertically flip, and this works alongside rotate, right and left, and it just makes it super easy to basically crop, flip, rotate, whether it be audio or video, or sorry, photo or video. It works equally the same with both of them, and when you combine it with like cropping, do some aspect to square aspect, then we can format our video basically to whatever social media site or wherever that you want, that you may have specific needs for. And another thing that we've added that's handy for that is on the fill border. Now you can choose both aspect ratio to determine, okay, I want this square at whatever the maximum resolution is. So when I save this out, it's 3840 by 3840 because this video is 3840 wide. But I can also choose dimensions, and I can say, okay, I want the final dimensions to be, and again, this is handy for, if I've got some social media site or something, whoops, I want 2000 by 1500 maybe, and then when I go to save this out, it'll be those dimensions. So it's just really handy to be able, if you've got a particular dimension, if you've got several pieces of media especially that you need to be that dimension, you can save this as a preset or just reuse it or whatever, but very, very handy. Okay, moving on. Let's go to this photo. I've added here a coloring curve node, and you'll notice in the color chooser is a new eyedropper tool. So the reason I've done that here, and this can be handy in many of the different adjustments, but in the coloring curve adjustment, this one can be particularly handy for doing white balance. So in this photo, everything's got kind of a cream tone to it, and probably a little bit more of a cream tone than exists in real life. So I can click on the color tool and click just where I think it should basically be white. I click that, then as I pull this curve down, it's basically pulling that color out of the image, and so you can see I've removed that golden cast. Maybe you want that, maybe you don't, but with the color picker tool, and this is in all the color choosers for any adjustment that has them, you can pick out colors that are in your image, and for things like white balance with the coloring curve, that becomes very handy. Moving on, another thing we've added is you may have a product shot or something where you've done it in front of a green screen and you want to remove that background. So we added the Chroma key adjustment. And here's another one where the color picker is pretty handy, because I can come over, choose sort of a medium color in the background there, and then just slide up the tolerance. And There's another slider here, which is fall off. Let me just zoom in here so you can see what's happening. Let's add a little bit there. So you can see there's sort of, still a green fringe along here. As I do slide the fall off curve, it sort of fades that. And so between tolerance and fall off, you can usually get something pretty nice. Sometimes you'll do it and you'll still end up with something like you see over on the left there, where it's maybe it's hard to get all of the background removed without eating into some of the foreground. But one neat thing that you can do with the way that CameraBag is set up is I can add a second chroma key adjustment. And I can just come over here and select that color and use the tolerance and fall off on that one. And between those, then I can generally get it pretty nice. So anyway, very handy. Let's see, we've just a few more things we've added. Let's go back to this video. I'm going to flip it back to its original orientation. We've added in the histogram, we've added clipping indicators. So if I do something like, blow out the exposure, you can see that now it will highlight red over here. The same thing if I go low, if there are values that are 0 or over the max brightness value, then it will indicate that on the histogram. So it's just a handy thing to know when you actually start clipping. And then another thing relating to videos, which this video is a good example of. Let me turn off this LUT that's on here so that we're looking at the raw values. If I go to the pixel inspector, you can see that this is the RGB red, green, blue values are not just integer values. It's like 73.5 and 72.8. That's because this is a high bit depth video. So this is a 10-bit video. So instead of 256 levels in each of the RGB values, it has 1024. And we've just basically expanded support for those videos in CameraBag Pro. So you can do, we supported it for certain formats before, but now we've expanded to a lot more formats so that you can, when you're using high bit depth footage from your new camera or whatever, and you apply a LUT, you still retain great quality that makes it very editable and very easy, especially if, like with this video, if you're shooting in log and it's quite a flat look, you can pull out all the colors and the detail in that. And then there are several bug fixes. We fixed some video rotation issues on Windows and some general problems that people were having with Windows 11 in particular. And so if you were having troubles on Windows 11 before with CameraBag and it wouldn't start or wouldn't load photos, go give this new one a try and let us know if it fixes your issues for you. But anyway, we're really happy about all the things we were able to cram into this update, and we hope that you'll find it very useful. Let us know in the comments if there's any feedback or any other ideas that you have for us, and we look forward to seeing what you make. Thanks.